Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc's disqualification at the Chinese Grand Prix was already one of the biggest shocks of the season. But now, with Ferrari boss Fred Vasseur making a bombshell admission about what happened and what could happen next, the situation has become far more serious. This is no longer just about a single technical infraction. According to Vasseur, we could be entering a new and far more ruthless chapter of Formula One where disqualifications like this become far more common. And if he's right, it changes everything. What Vasseur just revealed isn't just surprising, it's a full-blown warning to the entire grid. He believes more disqualifications are coming this season as teams push their cars to the very limit in a desperate bid to stay competitive in an increasingly crowded field. But it's what he clarified next that really caught everyone's attention. Vasseur was clear to separate what happened to Ferrari from something far more controversial. He said teams need to distinguish between being disqualified for taking risks and being disqualified because someone is cheating. One is part of the sport, the other is not. And according to him, what happened to Ferrari falls firmly into the first category. That statement on its own is explosive. So if you're wondering what this means for Ferrari, for Hamilton, for Leclerc, and for the title fight itself, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all notifications because we're about to break down exactly what Vasseur just admitted and why it could change the course of the entire 2025 Formula One season. Stay until the very end. You won't want to miss a single detail. Let's start with the actual disqualifications. At the Chinese Grand Prix, Hamilton and Leclerc finished 6th and 4th respectively, but within hours, both drivers had their results wiped from the record books. The reason? 2 separate technical infringements. Hamilton's car failed a post-race floor inspection due to excessive plank wear. The thickness of the plank had dropped below the minimum allowed. Meanwhile, Leclerc's car came in under the minimum weight limit after the team changed his front wing and reweighed the car post-race. 2 different infractions, but the result was the same. Both drivers disqualified. 0 points, maximum damage. But now we've learned that Vasseur doesn't see this as a freak accident. In fact, he sees it as a symptom of where the sport is heading. The competition at the front is now so tight, with Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, and even Mercedes fighting for podiums, that teams are being forced to push every limit. Ride height, weight, downforce setups, tire strategies, everything is being pushed to the edge and sometimes beyond. The result? Mistakes, oversights, and yes, disqualifications. What Vasseur admitted is that this type of disqualification might not be rare for much longer. As he put it, when you push yourself to the limit of every technical parameter, it's easy to go just a little bit too far, especially when conditions change mid-race or when unexpected wear starts to show in components you thought were safe. And with such narrow margins, the risk of breaching a regulation, even unintentionally, becomes far more real. But here's the key distinction Vasseur was determined to make. This is not cheating. This is not a team trying to break the rules to gain an unfair advantage. It's a team taking calculated risks within the framework of the regulations and occasionally falling on the wrong side of the line. As Vasseur explained, disqualification for risk is not the same as disqualification for deception, and the danger, in his view, is that the public, and perhaps even rival teams, are too quick to conflate the two. From a Ferrari perspective, this admission is both reassuring and concerning. On one hand, it shows that the team is still willing to push hard to find performance. They're not playing it safe. They're being aggressive, which is what you need to do if you want to fight for championships. But on the other hand, it reveals just how fine the line is between success and failure, between a points finish and a disqualification. And when you have 2 disqualifications in one race, one for Hamilton, one for Leclerc, it raises uncomfortable questions about whether Ferrari's internal checks and risk assessments are good enough. For Hamilton, this development is massive. He came to Ferrari to fight for a record 8th world title. That mission demands not just pace, but consistency and clean weekends. But how can he deliver that if the team's approach is putting him at risk of losing results, even when he drives well? The Chinese Grand Prix was a strong drive from Hamilton. He overcame early pace issues, followed team orders, and brought the car home in 6th, only for a post-race inspection to erase all of it.